Let's ignite our determination to continue with our practice of yoga that will bring many benefits for the rest of our life. Yoga is a way of life, and it gives you the tools to accommodate everything that comes your way. It enables you to have a broader view, a more open mind, and of course with the core strength that you develop and attain, it allows you to move forward in an enlightened and warrior-like way. So with that said, let's just prepare by bringing ourselves to a comfortable seat, cross-legged if you choose, or you could go for perfect pose, or you could sit kneeling or in a chair. Just give yourself the positioning that you have an upright torso, a straight spine. So you might even like to have a wall behind you to give the spine support. Even in its most basic form, this is yoga. So if you can't achieve the positions, the more challenging postures, then always look at having a well-aligned sitting position. This alone will bring benefits. And if we close the eyes now, we can check in, tune in, connect to our inner self, synchronize with our breath, acknowledge the rise and fall of your chest, experience how you create space when you breathe in and how you release and surrender when you breathe out. Many of us take breathing for granted, and that's okay because it is a natural, life-giving occurrence, but if you get to understand it better, it can be more enriching. And during your practice, have an observation of the breath at most times, wherever possible, allowing it to stay long and deep and conscious. And this way you continue to pump rich oxygenated blood through your body. It's replenishing, revigorating, so it gives you this natural energy whilst you practice. So let's open the eyes and bring ourselves into a tabletop position. So we're going to get onto our hands and knees. Have your knees hip width apart and have your hands shoulder width apart, making a nice foundation. So you want to have a slight tilt of the pelvis. This will flatten the base of the spine and it will bring that natural reaction of the tummy wanting to pull in and up towards the base of the spine. This develops core strength. Ensure the teeth are unclenched and the skin on the face is soft and that you're relaxed around the neck and the throat. Let's take a breath in and let's drop the belly button to the mat, lift the tailbone, lift the chin and the eyes. So we concave the spine as we breathe out, let's scoop the belly round the shoulders and drop the tailbone and the top of the head. Let's inhale and go in the opposite way, so we concave the spine, lift the chin, lift the tailbone, and then exhale, round the shoulders, drop the top of the head, drop the tailbone and scoop the belly, so you really have a nice arched spine. And then breathe in to flow in the opposite direction. And breathe out. Keep it going. And link the movement with your flow of breath, so it becomes nice and fluid. And then return to a central position. We'll practice that again, although we will alternate the breath now. So take a breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, raise the chin and the eyes. Breathe in, now scoop the belly round the shoulders, drop the tailbone. Exhale, release, concave the spine, look up, chin up, eyes up. Breathe in. Now scoop the tummy, take that belly button high as you round the shoulders. And then exhale, concave the spine. Do this once more. Breathe in, have that great arch of the spinal cord. Breathe out, concave it. And then come back to a neutral position, keeping a nice flat back, keeping the stomach engaged, so avoid collapsing your stomach muscles down to the mat. Also, avoid crushing or crashing your body weight down into your wrists and hands. You want to feel like you're really rising up, so the energy is coming from the palm of the hand and raising up rather than dropping down. So now let's make a C position with our spine. So take a breath in to prepare, and as you exhale, take your head and your tailbone to make that C curve in the spine on the same horizontal level. And then breathe in through the centre and exhale, now make a backward C. Through the centre. So you're just curving your spine on the horizontal plane. See if you can get your head and neck as a natural extension of your spine, so your gaze is directly at the mat beneath you and you're not dropping your head down or trying to hold it up. And return to a central position. Nice deep breath in. As you exhale, just bring those buttocks to the heels of your feet and bring your hands in and up into a kneeling position, and you might want to just give some release through those wrists. And then come back to the tabletop position. Let's now do a shoulder release. It incorporates a twist of the spine. It's called threading the needle. So you're in your tabletop position, great foundation. You've got your knees hip width apart, your shoulders hip width apart. Your total body weight is distributing equally into hands, knees, shins and feet. Let's release the right hand and now thread it between left thigh and left arm and bring that right shoulder down to the mat. Keep your hips level, so be aware if you've really
dropped your right hip over to the right. Get your hips positioned correctly and directly over your knees. Let the breath flow. Retain that engagement of the stomach muscles. So just check now whether you've let your stomach collapse down toward the mat, and can you scoop it in and back towards the spine. Now if you want to just stay here with your practice, then do so. But if you feel that you can release that left arm and raise it up to the ceiling, opening out across the chest, reaching and rising up through the arm to the fingertips. And then bringing that left hand to return to the mat. Pull the tummy in as you breathe in and lift to your central tabletop position. And then let's prepare to go on the other side. So we'll release the left hand and we'll thread it between right thigh and right arm and bring that left shoulder down to the mat. Keep your hips level. Take the time to tune into your breath. Ensure that you are still engaged with the stomach. And then if you can and are able, release that right hand and take it up to the ceiling, revolving the trunk of the body around the upper twist. Face nice and soft. And then bringing that right hand back, pulling the tummy in as you breathe in and return to your central position. From here now, let's do a nice extension through the spine. We'll keep the buttocks where they are, so the hips and the buttocks remain over the knees as we walk our hands forward. So be aware if you're bringing your buttocks forward as you do this. You want to avoid that. Take those hips and buttocks to rest over the knees. Walk your hands forward until you can drop the forearms down to the elbows. Bring the chest towards the mat, the chin towards the mat, or you might like to rest the forehead, whichever feels more comfortable for you. Puppy posture. And as you check in with the body, just see if you're holding on to any tight spots, any tension. Can you take deep breaths into these and let them go? And then pulling strong into your core as you lift and walk those hands back toward you. So now we're really going to connect with the core, strengthen and develop it. So what you want to do is acknowledge the belly button now, and be aware that the belly button has this energy flow, and that for now you're going to use that as an anchor directly to the mat beneath you. That is your central point, and that is your anchor. You're going to take a breath in and extend the right leg behind you. Breathe in and then lift that right foot so that it comes to hip level. Now, if you drop the right hip down a little bit, because there's going to be a tendency that as soon as you raise that right leg, you'll raise the right hip. So to help adjust this, think of your left inner thigh and rotate it outwards. And as you do that, just drop that right hip, and that should bring you into alignment. Be aware also that you haven't dropped the right shoulder lower than the left. Keep rising up through that right hand, because we're now going to release that left hand and extend it forward so that the fingers point towards the wall in front of you. Have the gaze looking down at the mat directly in front of you. Have the head and neck a natural extension of the spine. Breathe. Unclench your teeth. Stay anchored to the belly button. And then gently come back to the fullness of your central position, your foundation. And let's prepare to go on the other side. Extend the left leg behind you and then lift it up. And again, just checking the position of the hips. So you might want to get that right inner thigh muscle and turn it out so that that hip drops and comes into alignment with the right. Rise up through the arms, getting the shoulders aligned, get your head and neck stretched and straightened, and then release that right hand and extend it forwards. Really be in the moment, a full body experience, growing strong in your core. Extend from the left hip down to the left toes. Reach from the right shoulder through to the right fingertips. And then release back to the tabletop position. Let's now separate the knees, bring the toes together. When you next exhale, bring the buttocks to the heels of the feet. Now from here, think about the lower back, around the kidneys and the lower back muscles. And as you breathe in, rise up through them, extending through the torso, and then lower it down between the thighs and rest the forehead. Take this opportunity to really surrender and let go. And then let's breathe in and bring ourselves back to the tabletop position. So we're going to relax in the left hip now. Just take the mind into the left hip, tell it to loosen and let go. A breath in, and then as you exhale, swing that left foot forward and round between the hands. Don't judge yourself if it doesn't get there immediately. If you're trying to bring the knee forward as well, you might find that the foot doesn't go because you'll have compression of the bones in the hip, which means movement actually stops when bones compress. So by swinging your hip out to the side, you're actually allowing greater space for the movement, and you'll find that in time, when you loosen in your hip, you will then be able to swing that foot. So let's now rise up through the torso and bring ourselves to have the trunk of the body like a column. So again, we want to draw into the core, into the stomach muscles. Allow them to position themselves correctly. You want your head and shoulders over your hips. Now take a breath in and raise the hands forward to shoulder level. You will then swim the left hand 180 degrees behind you so that you twist through the torso, reach into the fingertips, rise up through the trunk of the body and breathe. Relax those shoulders away from the ears. If you feel able to, you can turn to look out past the left hand, really pulling in to your central column.
And then when you next exhale, allow those hands to lower down by the sides and then continue fluidly to reach the arms once again in front and behind you, but rotating in the opposite direction now. And then to an exhalation, return to that central position. Bring the hands down and then just giving some room by lifting that left hand, release that left foot back to your tabletop position. A breath in and out, and then we'll go on the other side. So now relax the right hip, just drawing the mind, the nice calm mind into the hip, telling it to relax and release. Breathe in, and then as you exhale, swing that right foot round between the hands. And then bring the trunk of the body up. So just checking your foundation, drawing in, have a little tilt of that pelvis, bring those shoulders over the hips, and then we'll take the hands forward, and then we will swim that right hand 180 degrees behind us. We're going to reach into all 10 fingers, well, 8 fingers and 2 thumbs to be pedantic. If you feel you can go further, turn and look out past the right hand. And then as you exhale, let those hands come down through a neutral position, and then rotating to the other side, opening out across the front of the chest and really reaching into the fingertips. And rise up through the trunk of the body, pull up pubis to navel, navel to breastbone, and then release down to a central position. Let's take those hands down and then just release the right hand so that you can bring that right knee back. Let's bring the knees together. Let's bring the buttocks to the heels of the feet. Really stretch through the arms, and again at this point think of the lower back and the kidneys, and as a breath comes in, rise up through the torso and the spine so that you can create extra length. Bring your forehead to the mat and then draw your arms alongside your body, fingertips travelling in the same direction as your toes, and release. Child's posture. And then with a breath in, bring yourself to return to the tabletop position. Relax in your left hip, a breath in. When you breathe out, swing that left foot between the hands. Let's bring the body upright. You might like to rest the hands onto the upper thigh now. Let's turn the right toes under. Now, with a feeling of upward lift, take a breath in and straighten the back leg. Nice and strong. Keep yourself really centered. So imagining that you have that nice central alignment, an energy channel, a central meridian coming right down through the trunk of your body to the mat beneath you, and that's your anchor, that's your core center. So tune into that as you breathe in and raise the hands in front of you. Release the left hand, swim it 180 degrees, and then really extend into the fingers, the thumbs, really stretch down through the right leg into the heel of the right foot. Lower the pubis if you can. Think of rising up through your torso, and breathe. And then to your exhalation, drop the hands down through the center. Stay focused. and rotate to the opposite direction. Rise up through the trunk of your body and reach out to your fingertips. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Surrender all tension. And then return to a central position. Let's lower the back knee. Bring the hands either side of the left foot. You can release that left hand out of the way so that you can swing the left leg back to tabletop position. Take a breath in and out to replenish and restore. And then we'll go on the opposite side. So we release the right hand when we swing the right foot round between the hands, and then let's draw up through the trunk of the body. Our head and shoulders are set above our hips. Let's turn the left toes under. And we want to have this whole feeling that the energy beneath us is rising up as we breathe in, and it lifts us with grace and strength. And then allow the stretch to take place down through the left leg. Bring the hands in front of you and then swim the right hand 180 degrees behind you. Again, stretching up through your core and reaching out to the fingertips. And then fluidly allowing the hands to lower through the center and then reach out once again, but this time you're just turning the trunk of the body in the opposite direction. Really open out across front of chest. Keep that connection with the anchor at the mat in the center of you. And then exhale. Return to a central position, and with the grace and strength you went into the pose, exit. And let's once again come into pose of a child, creating space as you do so, and then surrendering. Releasing, and then with a breath in and renewed energy, revigorated self, come back to the tabletop. Relax in your left hip, swing the left foot between the hands, turn the right toes under. Raise the trunk of the body and then breathe in and lift up. Reach the right hand forward, the left hand behind you. Rotate. And then take another breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to reach that right hand forward and bring it outside of your left foot. So if your fingers can't reach the floor or your hand, use a block. Another working tool in yoga. Reach the left arm up, fingertips towards the ceiling, and see if you can turn the head and neck on the cervical spine to look up towards the raised fingers of the left hand. Really stretch down through that right leg and stay anchored to the center of your mat. And then, with the strength and grace that you went into the position, come out. The neutral foundation of tabletop, ready to go on the other side. So we release in the right hip and we swing the right foot between the hands. We raise the trunk of the body. We turn the left toes under and we have that vibrant, energetic pull upwards to bring us into an upright position. We raise the left hand forward and the right hand behind us. We create space in our torso, pulling up internally, lifting the flesh externally. And then we reach forward with that left hand and we bring it outside of our right foot. And we raise the right hand up to the ceiling, opening out across the front of the chest. Keep the breath flowing, the face soft. See if you can turn the head and neck to look up to the raised thumb. And then a breath in, drawing into our core strength. Returning, exiting the position with the strength and grace that we went in. And then just bring the knees together, the buttocks to the heels of the feet. And at this point, if you feel that you might like to have your cushion in between the heels of your feet and your buttocks, then do so. It just gives an added comfort. And we will bring the palms of the hands one on top of each other with the point of thumbs touching. Rise up through your torso. Have your head and shoulders directly over your hips and the heels of your feet. Pose of contemplation. Precious moments to reflect. To draw in the nourishment of your practice, to infuse the mind and body with the experience and allow it to develop, to disperse around your body, and this new vibrant energy to be yours, and then for you to emit outward to others. Being aware of the space you have created within yourself, in your body and your mind. Be aware of the sense of freedom that this space brings. And then releasing into a neutral position, cross-legged, or stay kneeling, or go for perfect pose, or sit in a chair. Just bringing the hands to the heart to give thanks and gratitude always. Thanks and gratitude are more powerful and stay safe in the knowledge that yoga is powerful and good for all.